The following is a sermon which I gave on the third Sunday of Easter, which was just a week ago. My dear friends, is there anyone here in the church right now who doesn't know how to swim? Are there many people in this congregation right now who do not know how to swim? I'm sure the great majority here know how to swim. I have a very close friend. He's a priest. He's already in his early 60s, and he doesn't know how to swim. In fact, every so often he will say to me that he would love to know how to swim, but he has a fear of water, and that fear keeps him from learning how to swim. And the interesting thing about my friend is that he believes that the water holds people up. He believes that. He sees it happening all the time. He sees people swimming in the water, and he can see that the water is holding them up. So he has no trouble believing that the water would hold him up. But he doesn't have faith in the fact that that would be the case for him if he tried. You see, there's a difference between belief and faith. My friend believes that the water would hold him up, but he hasn't had the experience of the water holding him up. And it's only when the experience arrives for him personally, only then will he have arrived at faith in the fact that the water will hold him up. So he has to move from his belief to faith in it. And the only way he can make that move is to risk getting into the water, to risk confronting his fear. It's as if the water is saying to him, I will hold you up, but you have to come in and get involved with me. You have to risk getting involved with me. You have to risk coming in with your fear and getting involved. And if you do that, you'll come to a point where you will see that I actually will hold you up. But my friend is not willing to take that risk. And it's possible that he will never learn how to swim. And I think there's a great lesson in that very fact. There's a great lesson in the whole process of learning to swim and our faith as Christians, as Catholics. I happen to be able to swim. And I remember the day I learned how to swim. I remember my fear. I remember the people around me who were trying to encourage me to get into the water. And they were trying to convince me that the water would hold me up. And I remember going in. And I remember being afraid. And I remember my fear, and I remember the doubts I had while I was in the water, as it seemed I was going to sink. But then I remember the moment came when I could see that the water was actually holding me up. And then confidence began to enter my being, and excitement began to enter my being. And then I was staying up better and better. And then I felt so good about it that I wanted to get back into the water again and again. But you see, I remember the moment when my belief in the fact that the water would hold me up moved into faith in the fact. I had the experience. and with the experience arrived faith. Now I have the greatest faith in it. I step into the water, and I have no doubt but that it will hold me up. And you see, there are many, many Christians who believe. They believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ. There are many, many Catholics who believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ. But I think a good question for them to consider is, have they moved from belief to faith in the teachings of Jesus Christ? I think there are many Catholics, many Christians, when they're asked the question, do they have the faith? They reply that they do have the faith, because they believe in all the teachings of Jesus Christ. But you see, belief isn't faith. There's quite a difference. There's quite a jump. And the jump can only happen if we're willing to risk. You see, Jesus will hold us up. And many of us believe that. But have we had the experience of Jesus holding us up? Jesus will hold us up in any crisis, in every crisis. But we have to risk getting into the water with him. We have to risk getting into the waters of our fear with him. You see, there are people who believe that a relationship with God, a relationship with Jesus, is a kind of a distant thing. We talk to him and he hears us speak and he talks back to us. But you see, that isn't a relationship. To have a relationship with God, with Jesus, we have to get into the water with him. We have to get into life with him. We have to get into our fears with him. We have to risk. And really, that's what prayer is all about. Prayer is all about learning to move from belief to faith. We start out in prayer believing what we've been told, what we've read, what we've been taught. But prayer is a process of moving from the belief to faith. And as we stay with prayer and as we persevere in prayer, we go deeper and deeper into faith. And we have no doubt but that God holds us up in all situations. Every Sunday when we come to Mass here, most of us, at communion time, we come up to the communion rail and we receive Jesus in Holy Communion. And as Catholics, we believe that when you receive Holy Communion, Jesus is coming into you physically. In fact, Jesus has used the expression, "You must eat my flesh." You must eat my flesh and drink my blood. Is there anything more intimate than eating? Think about how intimate you get with your food. How we love our food. But we love our food because we get intimate with it. We put it into our mouths and we chew on it and we taste it and we delight in its taste. And we digest it and we want more of it. And we look forward to the times when we can sit down and eat because we love our food. We get involved with our food. We're intimate with our food. And we never forget to eat. But you see, Jesus compares himself to food because he's trying to tell us if we want to have faith in him, if we want to feel him holding us up, we must get involved with him. We must eat him. We must digest him. We must taste him. We must delight in him. We must love him. We must look forward to the periods when we can sit with him and get involved with him. That's what Holy Communion is telling us. In the Gospel of today's Mass, we read about Jesus appearing to his disciples shortly after his resurrection. And they were in a room, and Jesus appeared in their midst. And we're told that they were terrified because they thought they were seeing a ghost. And Jesus, realizing they were afraid, tried to reassure them, tried to tell them that he wasn't a ghost. And he invited them to come over and to touch him. He says, touch my hands, touch my body, and see that a ghost doesn't have flesh and blood as I do. He was trying to get them involved with him. He was trying to say to them, get involved with me and you will overcome any fear you have regarding me. Get involved with me and you will see that I'm not a ghost. But you see, there are a lot of people who are afraid of God. They're even afraid of getting involved with him. But they don't realize that he's saying to them, the only way you'll overcome your fear of me, the only way you'll overcome your wrong ideas about me is to get involved with me. To get involved with me is to love me. To get involved with me is to delight in me. To get involved with me is to lose every fear you ever had regarding me. To get involved with me is to know that I love you and you will always be mine. Amen.